and welcome to today's 10-minute painting lesson. We're going to begin here today, as we generally do, with our large damp square-headed brush, and we're going to begin by applying some titanium white to the base of our horizon. Then we're going to take a small amount of primary blue and a good amount of titanium white, apply that on top of our initial mixture, and blend the two together softly. From there, as we move up towards the top of the sky, we're slowly going to incorporate additional primary blue. It will get a little bit more dark, it will get a little bit more saturated, and will create a very smooth gradient from one to the next. Now, we're able to do this because we incorporated a good amount of water on our brush initially, which extended the wet life of our paint and helped us blend old layers into new layers. If you find that you're getting more of a toothy aesthetic, if you find that your pigment is running out, I'd simply implore you to incorporate a little bit of additional water in your mixtures. But from there, we're going to jump down into the water, and this time I'm going to use a little bit of a darker mixture. This is Mars Black, titanium white, and primary blue. I'm applying this around the back and the outskirts. Then I'm going to take a slightly brighter mixture with a little bit more titanium white, a little bit more primary blue, and apply that in front of it. I'm going to blend the two to a point, but I'm also going to use horizontal strokes so that you get the implication of moving water in the background. Then we're going to apply some sand in the foreground. I'm using a burnt umber and a titanium white here. If you find that it's slightly too saturated, you can also incorporate a very minute amount of Mars Black to tone that down. I'm also going to use a similar mixture in the background for sand as well. This way it isn't in a single place in the painting. We keep things cohesive and it looks much more natural. So here you can see that I'm applying that. I'm still using the same brush. It's a fantastic brush because it's very versatile. The larger square-headed brush, it holds a great deal of paint, so you can apply a lot to large areas like the sky, the water, or the land, but it also has those sharp edges, which is fantastic for rendering sharper details and edges, which we're doing a lot of here. But from there, I'm also going to take some additional titanium white paint. I'm going to mix the water into the land. At this point, it's void of highlights. We need to let it dry a little bit, but we will come back to that fairly shortly. In the meantime, I'm working on the base of our trees. As you can see, I'm using the smaller square-headed brush this time, and I'm using this because it too can hold a good amount of paint, but it is such a hard, sharp line. It's fantastic for rendering detail. A lot of people like to use more round-headed brushes or liner brushes for detailed areas. However, they innately have a much more feathered edge, which means you'll get a much softer aesthetic, which isn't necessarily what you want for subjects in the foreground that do have a very striking presence, like the base of a tree. So, with that in mind, I'm also going to use this very sharp brush to incorporate some highlights in the water with some titanium white. I'm predominantly beginning with the water that is washing up on the shore. I'm picking areas in which the water is going to get higher. It's going to produce a little bit of a wave, or a little bit is going to be kind of tossing about, and I'm going to apply that white line, and I'm going to allow it to be thinned on either side, build up more so in the middle. So we're creating these gradients of application. You can even have your application be much more thick in the middle and then dissipate as you move out towards the edges. This is going to create a little bit of texture and a little bit of additional depth as well. As you move farther out into the background, the white should blend more and dissipate into the distance. Now, from there, I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to create some foliage, as you can see right here. The leaves on the palm trees. I'm beginning with a simple green. This is a mixture of primary yellow primary blue, a little bit of titanium white to thicken up the paint, and I'm going to apply this pigment to the background as well, again trying to keep things cohesive. Now, a lot of you are probably questioning why we also implement the titanium white paint into the green, and that's just to thicken up the pigment and the mixture. Generally, primary colors are much more thin, so when you apply them, you can generally see the background color show through a little bit, it blends, but you can thicken your pigments fairly easily with a pigment like a titanium white. Now we're going to go back in, we're going to do additional layers to this, so building up a strong, fairly opaque base is a generally good idea. So that's really what we're doing here. We're just getting the shape, we're getting the outline, we're getting the general color, and then we'll go back in and we'll add some more. But as you can see with this subject, this brush is fantastic for rendering those small lines, those really intricate details. And if you find that you're applying your pigments and that your strokes are slightly too large, you can apply less pressure with your brush so the bristles aren't pushed into the canvas and they don't expand. So you get a much more fine, detailed application. A lot of people find that when they want to apply paint or they get excited, they apply a lot of pressure and they try to add a lot of paint to the canvas, but in doing so, you can actually run into real difficulties because you'll apply too much paint and the bristles will expand and you'll get a much larger application. So you look at your brush and you say, that's a very small brush, why isn't it rendering a small application? And generally, that's your answer. But with that being said, I am adding in a second layer here to the trees. I'm using a darker green this time. I'm also incorporating a little bit of Mars black, and I'm just building up the depth. For the most part, I'm applying this to the middle of the tree, and then I'm blending it outwards. I'm applying it in the middle of each individual leaf, and then I'm blending it out to the side. And then I'm also grabbing some titanium white and I'm going back into the water. I'm going to do that a couple of times throughout this painting just to ensure I get it exactly how I want it, so that I don't overdo it at any one point, so that I have time to sit with it and say, what if I added something right there? What if I added a little bit of additional water right there? And I can kind of move through the process and get it exactly how I want it. I'm also adding a little bit of that white to the land on the background just to show that the waves are also washing up on them as well. It'll make it look a little bit more cohesive and blend in more so with the foreground of the painting. Then I am going to switch over to a smaller round-headed brush and begin working on our clouds. Here we're predominantly going to be using a titanium white, and I'm applying the pigments in generally a horizontal application, but then I'm moving the brush in a circular motion, and this is going to give us a very feathered edge in different areas. It's going to blend in to the bottom of the sky very well because that's where we incorporated a good amount of titanium white, and then as we move up towards the top it becomes so much more noticeable and striking because instead of being against a white background, it's against more of a blue background. Now, you can make some of your clouds much more transparent by doing a lot more blending, by using a lot more water on your brush, and you can make much more opaque clouds by using a lot less water, by doing a lot less of the blending, or by adding additional layers on top. Generally, when you want to do that, I would advise you to do so by applying the additional pigment more so around the middle or bottom of the cloud, and then blending it out from there. But down here, you can see that I'm doing a little bit more in the water, just blending things out, adding a little bit of a green to give it a tropical touch. There, you're just throwing in a little bit of additional primary yellow. It's good because it'll match the green of the trees, and it won't blend in too much with the sky. So there are a lot of benefits to playing with your colors as well, and not going with the color you naturally think your subject should be. Because if you think about it, when we think about the base of a tree, what color do you think of? Probably just brown. But realistically, there's moss on the tree, there are grays on the tree. So you have greens, you have grays, you probably have all these different colors, and it's not just a brown. The same goes for water and really any other subject. So when you want to add a level of intricacy, realism, and general interest to a piece or a subject, go beyond what your natural inclination might be of its color. Expand upon it and try to draw in different ideas. Figure out where light's reflecting on it, what additional colors that light will bring with it, and that will give you a much better painting. Now, with that said, that is our 10-minute version, but as per usual, I had a couple extra ideas, so I thought I'd show you. Here I'm just adding a little bit of extra green into the water, then some darker pigments to make it stand out. I'm adding some darker pigments into the trees, and I'm going to throw in some birds into the sky just to give it a little bit of life as well. But with that being said, that is our 10-minute painting. I truly hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a lot of fun and learned something. If you'd like to learn more, there is a link in the description to my ebook, Acrylics for Beginners. All of the tools that I used in this video are actually listed in the description as well, with links to where you can find them. If you'd like lessons like this, where you can also see my color palettes when I'm mixing with water, there is also a link to my Patreon down below with hour-long lessons. So thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you've enjoyed. I post every Saturday. I hope to see you next Saturday. And above all, as always, stay creative.